Tonight on To The Point.
Should California add allergens to restaurant menus? That's the discussion among state lawmakers today.
Plus, hundreds of state workers protest at the Capitol. Their complaints to lawmakers as a deadline to return to the office nears. President Trump pauses new tariffs.
I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippee.
Why some countries are still being taxed. And later, a moment of kindness turns into a financial nightmare.
I went to go try to pay a bill and realized that everything was gone.
Tonight, how scammers are using fake emergencies to gain access to your personal and financial information.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Should California add allergens to restaurant menus? That's the subject of a bill that passed in committee today. ABC 10's Becca Habegger spoke with the 9-year-old behind the bill and why those opposed say the bill is flawed.
It was a busy day outside state lawmakers' office building Wednesday, with people rallying and a line just to get inside to discuss various bills.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
In a conference room on the 8th floor,
Support SB 68.
even some of the youngest Californians participated in the legislative process.
Support SB 68 for Addie.
These third graders are here to support their classmate, 9-year-old Addie Lau.
I have had anaphylactic food allergies since I was a baby. I always have to be careful and carry my EpiPen wherever I go.
She has multiple severe food allergies that have threatened her life when, despite best precautionary efforts, they wind up in food she is served.
My allergens are often hidden. Even my favorite food, dumplings, often have sesame oil in it.
She and her mom, Robin Lau, approached California Senator Caroline Menjivar, chair of the Senate Health Committee, about sponsoring a bill.
There's a lot of hidden allergens. So a lot of times, it's that invisible burden of, is it safe? Like, do we know? There's just so much risk involved.
Menjivar agreed and wrote Senate Bill 68, which would require restaurants to include on all of its menus written notification of the major food allergens contained as an ingredient in each menu item. It would also add sesame to that list.
So I'm always thinking about what can or can I eat? And I'm thinking, this is a lot of work.
In Wednesday's news conference, Menjivar told the kids she too has severe food allergies and wants to see restaurants clearly list the allergens in each menu item. Right after the news conference, the bill went before the California Senate Committee on Health. There, Menjivar and Addie made their case to committee members, and Addie's classmates lent their voices too.
My name is Leo Taco and I support this bill.
And a letter in support of SB 68 is signed by dozens of organizations and hundreds of medical professionals. Senators also heard from the California Restaurant Association and the nonprofit FAIR, Food Allergy Research and Education, which jointly oppose SB 68.
This bill requires on-menu printing. We have a vastly dynamic supply chain network, and this bill, we believe, takes a static approach.
Menus cannot capture allergen risks introduced through sourcing, manufacturing, or even cross-contact during kitchen prep. As written, the bill would create a false sense of security for food allergy families.
The committee passed the bill, with senators noting there's still time to make improvements.
Even though we're really young, we can make a difference in the world.
In Sacramento, Becca Habegger, ABC 10.
The legislative process for this bill is far from over. It goes next to the Senate Committee on Appropriations. Tonight, a shutdown is brewing between Governor Gavin Newsom and state workers over returning to the office. Hundreds of state workers gathered at the state capitol today to rally against the governor's mandate. Starting in July, most workers will be required to go into the office at least 4 days a week. The largest state workers union, SEIU Local 1000, says telework saves taxpayer money and helps the environment. They filed a legal challenge last month while protests like these continue across the state.
I'm not sure that it'll be reversed, but I absolutely feel like actions like this do move the needle. The bigger that these actions get, the more people that turn out, it sends a message, and they're listening.
The governor says the policy is about accountability and reviving California's downtowns. Developing news, Cameron Lee, the ex-boyfriend of Sacramento mother Angelica Bravo, is now wanted for murder. Bravo was found dead in Lee's Sacramento home last July. Their 2 kids, Athena and Mateo, have been missing since Bravo's death and are believed to be with Lee. While an autopsy report released in January labeled Bravo's cause of death undetermined, today Sacramento police issued an arrest warrant for Lee, and police are asking anyone with information to come forward. ABC 10 will have more details on these developments tonight, coming up on Late News Tonight at 11. All right, let's jump to your price points tonight. The stock market ended in a positive territory today, just minutes after Trump announced a 90-day pause on some tariffs. Now, the pause does not apply to China. I want to go ahead and get to Christian Cordero, who has the latest details from Washington tonight.
After 1 week of stocks falling, with trillions of dollars lost because of President Trump's sweeping tariffs against trading partners, today, a social media post reversed course. The Dow closing up almost 3,000 points following Trump's announcement that he will pause tariffs for 90 days as he negotiates with various countries.
I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid.
One country is exempt from Trump's 90-day pause, China. China today announced retaliatory 84% tariffs in response to Trump's 104% levy on goods imported from China. Trump punching back, raising that to 125%.
Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right. And now I've reversed it.
On Capitol Hill, some Republican members of Congress have said they appreciate the president addressing longstanding trade deficits, but are concerned about the escalating trade war.
When we get into a trade war, usually the first pawn in the trade war is agriculture.
Fifth-generation farmer Ryan McInthune worries about what a disruption to demand would mean for his Minnesota soybean farm. The state's Soybean Growers Association says around 1 in 4 rows here are sent to China.
Wondering what tomorrow's going to bring to make ends meet in times like these. I mean, we're already below cost of production on soybeans.
The tariffs that stand are still expected to drive prices up on everyday goods. One example, the latest iPhone is expected to cost at least $600 more within the year. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Tonight, small local businesses that rely on imports from China say that they're taking a hit. Price Johnson is the CEO of Cephalofair Games in Rockland. They have produced more than 1 million games and sell in local stores like Big Brother Comics. But his production is now under threat. Johnson says the company has $1.2 million in product that have been produced, and they are sitting in China right now, and they don't see a way to compete domestically, having international options taken away.
At 104%, I mean, our industry already came to a halt. At 125%, we can't stop any harder than we've already stopped. You can make it 300, you can make it 500. My worst fear is that we cease trade altogether.
Johnson says they are also having to look into storing their products in Chinese warehouses, which will cost even more money. A new estimate from a group of economists called Trade Partnership Worldwide looks at how much importers spend on tariffs in 2024 and how much importers could spend in 2025. They say California importers will spend about $170 billion more this year if they were to import the same amount of goods as last year, and if the president's tariff trumps remain the same. Still ahead on To the Point, State Farm wants to raise insurance rates in California, but by how much, and is it justified?
For the third time this year, we made it into the 80s, and the 80s stick around for the rest of the week. You should stick around because I've got the forecast after the break.
Plus, scammers are now using fake emergencies to gain access to information on your phone, how you can protect yourself. Welcome back in. We are taking a live look over downtown Sacramento. A beautiful and much warmer day today. Meteorologist Brendan Minchef joins us now with what we can expect for the second half of the week, right?
Yeah, more of the same, honestly. I've got 80s for much of not just the rest of this week, but much of next week as well. We made it to 84 downtown today, 82 Stockton, 82 in Modesto. That's about 10 degrees above normal for the time of year and about 10 degrees warmer than where we were yesterday. Made it to 84 this afternoon, the second Warmest day we've had so far this year. Still in the 80s, but just barely. 80 in Sacramento, 80 in Elk Grove, 80 in Stockton, 82 in Manteca, 81 in Modesto, 83 up in Colusa, 60s and 70s in the foothills, and 60s in the high country right now as well. The Kings tip off in just a few minutes. Temperature's going to be in those upper 70s. Towards the end of the game, we will be in those upper 60s and low 70s, and we're going to have some clouds starting to move through overnight as well. Early Thursday morning, temperatures are going to be in those low 70s, and again, those clouds going to stick around through the overnight. Mid-50s or so in the foothills and low to mid-30s up in the Sierra. We'll call it mild and a few clouds, especially in the valley. Tomorrow afternoon, back in the 80s, but some clouds are going to continue to move on through. 82 Sacramento tomorrow, 83 in Stockton, 83 Modesto, 85 up in Colusa, 80 in Vacaville, 70s in the foothills. But we are going to remain several degrees above average for the time of year. The one exception is going to be Saturday, where we're just 3 degrees above average because we're going to be in between high pressure systems, so temperatures moderate just a little bit for Saturday before high pressure builds back in through next week. And by the time we're getting towards the Easter holiday weekend, temperatures could be in those mid to upper 80s. And you see that there at the tail end of the 10-day forecast, Alex.
Next, on To the Point, new details from State Farm's insurance rate request hearing, why testimony in court today is casting doubt on the company's request. Plus, Sacramento is one step closer to creating entertainment zones, how they could boost local businesses.
Our free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app has so much to offer. Get your news live and on demand 24/7 so you can watch the news when you want. There's breaking news, extended forecast, and so much more. We have everything you need to get through your day and ready for the weekend. We've got you covered on money-saving tips, travel, entertainment, and sports. Download the free ABC 10 Plus app on your smart TV and popular streaming devices like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and more. ABC 10. We stand for you 24/7.
State Farm wants to raise insurance rates for millions of California homeowners and renters. But new testimony today in a multi-day hearing over their request is casting doubt on the data. Stephanie Sierra reports from Oakland tonight.
State Farm's first rate hike hearing in a decade was met with controversy over a potential conflict of interest. The insurance company's expert witness, Nancy Watkins.
We found out that she was basically hired to consult with the department on formulating regulations that are favorable to the industry, which would include the cost of what's called reinsurance that companies have to buy.
Watkins currently has a consulting contract with the Department of Insurance where she not only has access to confidential information, but is specifically assessing rates for State Farm. The judge denied State Farm's appeal to keep Watkins as a witness.
We're really worried about wildfire risk in general.
Burlingame resident Richard McLaughlin lost his childhood home in the Palisades fire.
It seems like State Farm is presenting that they're in a dire financial situation, and they're trying to fix that by both injecting money from their parent organization and also by increasing rates, and they haven't really justified that mix.
Initially, State Farm asked for a roughly 22% rate hike for homeowners, which dropped to 17%. State Farm's expert witness, an economist the company hired, claims the 17% figure is what State Farm needs for financial stability. Yet he also testified he didn't actually calculate those numbers.
There could be any number of calculations that are below 17% that would also be reasonable, and our actuary actually did those calculations, and they range anywhere from a negative to very low, like in the maybe like 5% range.
In a statement, State Farm wrote, "We are looking forward to reinforcing the need for an emergency interim rate to help State Farm General Insurance Company continue to operate in California for the long term."
It does seem that State Farm is in trouble and does need the rate increase or something like the rate increase. But my broader frustration is with what I see as just such poor management by the California Department of Insurance.
All right, and the judge has 10 days to issue a proposed order with his recommendations, but Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara holds the power to make the final decision on raising rates. So this could mean hundreds of dollars added to your insurance policy. And the To the Point team spent months digging into the home insurance crisis, hearing from homeowners, Congress members, and the Insurance Commissioner himself about how we got to this point and possible solutions. You can stream our special investigation. It's airing right now on our ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app, and it is completely free. Sacramento is one step closer to launching entertainment zones. It's kind of a new concept designed to transform the city's nightlife. If approved, these zones would allow bars and small businesses to sell alcohol that people can take with them as they explore the designated areas. The initiative draws from inspiration from San Francisco, which already has 5 entertainment zones in place.
Another opportunity to bring people to the district, both residents and visitors.
The intent isn't to make Sacramento another New Orleans. These zones would only be applicable when special events were occurring.
City Council is expected to vote on the plan next month. If approved, the entertainment zones could be operational within a few months. New tonight, a moment of kindness turned into a financial nightmare for one woman, and it happened within the time it took to make a phone call. Investigative reporter Liz Lucas from our sister station in Atlanta explains how easily thieves are preying on Good Samaritans.
She thought she was doing the right thing.
A guy came up to us and said that he had left his phone in an Uber, and he was like, "Can I borrow your phone? I need to, at least text or call my friends to come pick me up. I'm stranded."
Chandler Rogers saw someone in need, but after loaning her phone, she later learned that need turned into a scam instead.
So he's just over there texting, so I thought, and he went on to Venmo and transferred money from Venmo, and then he went on to Cash App. I went to go try to pay a bill and realized that everything was gone.
Nearly $5,000 stolen from one account and around $2,000 swiped from another. Police from across the U.S., the American Bankers Association, even Microsoft, among those warning about ongoing phone borrowing scams. It usually happens in public places where scammers claim an emergency like a dead battery or lost phone to gain access to yours.
I didn't have any protection on either one of those apps. So as soon as I handed my phone over, he was able to just get into whatever he wanted.
And we found it's not just your money that's at risk. Microsoft warns that scammers can access emails and even swap your SIM card to steal personal data and secure codes. The big thing experts say is don't let someone you don't know borrow your phone. But there are further ways that you can protect your information if you do use peer-to-peer payment apps like Venmo or Cash App. Taylor Hicks is with the Better Business Bureau.
They can go in their settings and turn on the multi-factor authentication. They can set up a PIN code, but it is something to take into account because if you don't set up these layers of protection and you do fall victim to a scam such as this, it's really difficult to work with customer service and get your money back.
Chandler did get money back from Venmo in her bank, but not Cash App. When we asked for specifics, a spokesperson cited customer privacy. Cash App also pointed us to its company policy on scams. 11 Alive News investigates found within that policy, customers may be eligible for reimbursement for confirmed imposter and deception scams reported within 60 days of the payment, within certain terms. Emails Chandler provided to us show Cash App saying, quote, based on the information available, it appears the funds were dispensed properly and no error occurred with this transaction. Chandler now more cautious about how she'd help a stranger in the future.
And now I'm like, okay, maybe I would just stay with my phone and be like, who can I text for you? Who can I call? And just never hand your phone away.
You know what they say, no good deed goes unpunished. And I do have another tip for you here. It's from the Better Business Bureau. They say that if you link your payment apps to a credit card instead of a bank account, the agency says credit card companies can be a little bit easier to deal with when it comes to fraud. Just be sure to watch out for extra fees. Stay with us. We're back after this break. It's a historic day for sports in Sacramento. For the first time, fans are watching 2 major league teams play in the area in one day. People were able to buy tickets to the Tower Bridge double for just $60. First this afternoon at Sutter Health Park, the Athletics took on the Padres. The Athletics say more than 700 doubleheader tickets were sold. The Downtown Sacramento Partnership says 1/3 of A's attendees are from outside the region, bringing in new revenue sources. And over at Golden One Center, tickets get you an upper-level seat to watch the Kings take on the Denver Nuggets. This is a live look as fans are heading into the stadium because tip-off is starting at 7 p.m. It's also an exciting day because the Kings will officially be in the play-in game, hoping to make it to the NBA playoffs. Of course, we'll all be here cheering them on. We'll have more on both teams tonight on Late News tonight at 11, so make sure you stay with us. As always, thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If you have something we should be looking into, you already know what to do. Reach out to me and the team. I'll see you tomorrow.